Hey, this is Johnny Jet, and this is my 39 travel questions. And today we have three-time Emmy nominee Christine van Blokland, who is the host of Curious Traveler. Christine, welcome to my show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I love the format of what you have. It's super fun to watch.
Well, I really appreciate it. And I've actually seen your show multiple times on PBS. Does it air anywhere else?
Actually, you'll love this. It airs on a lot of airlines. So American Airlines just recently aired, I think mostly our North American ones, but we've been on Finnair, Saudi Air, Singapore Air. And I always say for us, it's the best audience because it's a captive audience. You're stuck on a plane and you're like, please entertain me with something on this screen.
So true. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Gainesville, Florida, where the University of Florida is. So small-ish town, I would say college town, but now here in the big city, New York City.
Did I read that you were born in the UK?
Yeah, I was born in Scotland. My father is English, my mother American. They met in the Peace Corps, without telling you my life story. And then they traveled the world together for 15 years before we were all born. So I think travel is definitely in my DNA.
It sounds like it. And did you go to college?
Yes, University of Florida, broadcast journalism. How's that?
Nice. And you live in New York City now?
I do, and experiencing, of course, firsthand what the lockdown is like, and I have to report, I'm happy to report that in Central Park and people going to the grocery stores and things, everybody is definitely still wearing their masks and social distancing like we're supposed to.
That's good. And do they still have that makeshift hospital set up in the park?
They don't, as far as I know. Now, I don't want to, I'm not 100% sure, but I think now that things are sort of coming down, fingers crossed, they don't have that anymore. But I remember when I first read about that, I was like, is this really happening? Because, who would have ever thought, like in Central Park, they're going to have a MASH unit.
Yeah, so today's May 22nd, 2020, just in case you're watching it down the road.
I was like, let me get this straight.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, and hopefully by the time you're watching this, it will be over.
Hopefully.
But anyway, so what will it take for you to get back on a plane again?
That is the $1 million question. And it's the news changes every day and it all starts to be for the better. And I don't really believe that there's bad guys who are saying, oh, well, we just want the money. We're going to cram people on planes and on cruises. I don't think so. But then there's also the people who I think are a little too loosey-goosey. Who's like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure. Like, I don't want to be the guinea pig. I don't want anybody else to be the guinea pig. So I don't know what the answer is.
So you're waiting though. How about for yourself?
For myself, I'm the same way. So I don't want to go, I could take a test now, but then what if I hop on a plane and I know they have the filters and all that other sort of stuff. I could get it on the plane and then bring it to, a family member or a loved one. I feel like even though I'm a professional traveler, I'm in the same boat as everybody else. So I wish I had an answer. I mean, I'm looking at a blank calendar here of my computer. I'm like, I would love to fill it with trips. Yeah. I just don't know when I'm going to feel comfortable and I don't know when to recommend for others.
Right. And speaking of travel, how many countries do you think you've been to?
I would say between 20 to 25.
Okay. And all around the world, or do you just?
All around. We've done mostly Europe, but we just last year went to Hong Kong. We've also filmed in Mexico. We've done a lot of Canada, which has been great. For our show, we always set out to do mostly Europe, and we've done so much of the British Isles. It's been fantastic. So it was nice to we've done one or two in the U.S. as well, but mostly Europe for us.
And what is your favorite American city?
My favorite, I hate this, New York City. You can never be bored here. You can never be bored. You can live here for years and years, and there's always some little corner that you haven't quite explored yet or you don't know yet. And of course, being a traveler, an international traveler, there's a lot of little, different cultural neighborhoods where you can kind of be like, oh, Chinatown and Little Italy and every type of food. I live near Hell's Kitchen. You can have every type of food you could ever think of just within a couple of blocks walk.
And what's your favorite restaurant?
Well, now, here's the thing. I just recently started going vegan-ish, so I'm dying for I love pizza. And the best pizza, and you know this, the best New York pizza are the dive places, or it's where the police are eating, and I'm like, oh, they're in there. It's called Luigi's. It's Hell's Kitchen on 8th and 55th, I think. and you would walk right by it. It looks like a hole in a wall. They don't want to chit chat with you. That's when you know you're in a real New York place. They don't want the chit chat. You just tell them what you want to order. You step down, you pay them, and it's the best Sicilian pizza. You know, a slice. Gotta get a slice.
Good. And what's your favorite restaurant in the whole world? Or is that it?
No, actually, when we just recently filmed in Innsbruck, Austria, and people may think, oh, it's so touristy. It's really not. I loved it. I want to say it's called the Ottoberg, and it was inside one of the last remaining towers of the old medieval wall. And what I love when I say something's my favorite restaurant, it doesn't necessarily have to be the food, and the food was fantastic. It's the atmosphere. So we went in there, and I swear it felt like we were in a little Hansel and Gretel house. And, it's just got the little carvings, everything's in wood, and you're almost like in a little ski chalet, and you look out over the river and you actually see the bridge where Innsbruck got its name from, because it's the river. It's just fantastic. So for me, it's all about atmosphere.
Nice. And speaking of food, what is the craziest thing you've ever eaten on your travels?
Well, the craziest thing I've eaten as a vegetarian is lemon rind salad in Taormina, Sicily, Italy, which is fantastic because you don't think, I'm not going to eat the rind of a lemon. That's crazy. But long story short, because of Mount Etna, the volcanic ash that's there kind of fertilizes the soil, makes it really rich. And so it grows these sweet, sweet lemons that are like the size of your hand. And they're so sweet. Obviously, they'd be organic. And you just slice it up and you eat it. And I remember preparing to eat it. And you kind of get that sour lemon face. But you buy it. It's fantastic. Way before that, I think I was 16 or something, we were in Kruger National Park in South Africa and ate meat back then, and it was warthog stew. I know. That's a memorable one.
That one might be up for the top.
Yeah, but at the time you just think, oh, it just tastes like beef or, or what meat or whatever else. But
chicken.
That one, tastes like chicken. Yeah, that one goes down in the record books.
I don't think I asked you how many continents you've been to, but I'm guessing 5 or 6.
I think 5. We've not been to Antarctica.
Or Australia?
Have not been to Australia. And it's funny, we chat about it, and then I hate to sound like a wimp, especially to somebody like you. That Hong Kong flight, because we went direct from New York, 16, 19 hours?
16.
Is that right? It all blurs. It all blurs together. I'm so glad I had my sister with me. I can't imagine doing that on my own. I don't know if I could handle the flight, although other people do. I'll never say never.
There's tricks to that. Like I don't like ultra long hauls either all that often.
Right.
So, lately, well, not lately, but pre-COVID, I would do round the world trips sometimes. And my wife and I we did 2 round the world trips within like 2 months. And we would usually go LA, Toronto. That's 4 or 5 hours. Then we'd fly to London, another 6 hours. Then we'd fly to the Middle East, usually Doha, another 6 hours. Then we'd fly to Bangkok, 6 hours. And then we'd go to Japan, 6 hours, and then back to LA, and it would be 9 hours. So the longest flight would be 9 hours.
That's doable. Now, how long were you doing? Were you staying the night as a layover or just hanging out?
We'd spend multiple nights.
Oh, see, that's the trick. Okay.
That's the way to do it. And if you're going to go to Australia, if you're in New York, you could fly to LA, fly to Hawaii. You could even fly to Fiji and then to Australia, and every flight would be 5 hours.
There you go. You had me at Hawaii and Fiji. Perfect. Done.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Manageable.
That's the way to do it. Anyway, so what is your earliest travel memory?
A real simple one, I think. Flying to, I was 3 or 4, flying from Florida to see my grandmother in Illinois and pretending to be asleep in the seat, and then it was Eastern Airlines, and getting the little pin that they give little kids. Nice. Remember, and I was like, I'm dating myself, but that's all right. But yeah, it was Eastern Airlines because I kept it. It was so cute.
I've been on Eastern Airlines, and I was talking about it yesterday with another guest.
Yeah.
So how about, which country do you think has the friendliest people in the world?
Wales. Absolutely. The Welsh are the nicest people. I should say the Scottish too, but I think probably because we've traveled a bit more in Wales and not so much in the larger cities. Like we did do Cardiff, but I think there's something about the combination of being a British country, but also in the countryside too, where life is simpler. Just the nicest people I've ever encountered.
They are nice. I've been to Wales Only once, but it was beautiful.
It's fantastic. It's underrated, or it's a hidden gem, I should say.
It is.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, which country do you think has the meanest immigration officers?
Canada.
I mean, that's like,
Everyone says that, and I only because I experienced it. Now, technically, it was my fault. We were sleep deprived. We were going in, and you know how they ask you, you here for work or just fun. And I said work, and they started because I was sleep deprived. I thought he was just chatting and just making conversation. So I started babbling as I do, and I answered the correct question wrong, and then so we had to go into another room. Yeah,
I've been there.
Yeah, and anyhow, I won't do that. I know the correct answer to say now.
All right. How about your favorite airport in America?
Favorite airport in America? Oh, I love the Charlotte airport because of the rocking chairs. Everybody loves it. And you sit there and you got the guy playing the piano and you've got the little mobile going. It's fantastic.
I take it you fly American Airlines a lot.
Well, I do a lot between New York back to Florida. So I really only have two choices. So it's Delta or American. Yeah.
Gotcha. And how about international airport?
Probably Paris de Gaulle Airport.
Well, you might be the first person to say that one.
Yeah, I know. I can be very Pollyanna about things. I always get to the airport so early. I don't have problems with things. I like anything with a real high ceiling, whether it's an airport or an airplane. And it was just more pleasant. Most of the other ones we've been through didn't really have anything too remarkable to write.
Well, I love the Charles de Gaulle. I love the plane spotting. I love the escalator, just kind of like futuristic yet.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah, we'd never had any problems going through there.
How about favorite airport lounge?
We did I'm going to get the name of it wrong, at JFK, the Virgin VIP lounge thing, and they've got that really cool red furniture that looks like, it's fantastic. That was really cool. That was one of those moments where we're like, okay, somebody really needs to remind us to go get on the plane. Otherwise, we're just going to hang out here.
I gotcha. Richard Branson, he does it right.
Yeah, he knows he knows a little bit about interior decorating for sure.
And are you like an av geek at all? Do you have a favorite aircraft type?
Oh, I was looking forward to this question because you're going to laugh as I'm speaking to you with your cute model airplanes above your head. And I have a friend who's a true aviation nerd in the best way possible. You could tell me something's a B567. I have no idea what it is. I just really like the ones that are big enough to take you over an ocean, because then the ceiling is high enough and you feel like you have more space, even if you're not in business or first class. I couldn't tell you.
I got you. Have you ever sat next to any famous celebrities?
No, I interviewed a lot of celebrities in my previous life. I used to be an entertainment reporter, but I've never sat next to a celebrity. Once in a while, I'll see somebody as they're trying to hide in first class, and I'm going past them.
So when you were interviewing celebrities, which one was your favorite?
Bill Murray was just the greatest. He was so funny, and it was I think it's actually called, they had a Caddyshack golf tournament in Florida. I think he and his brothers actually own a golf course there. And there's a charity thing. So we would go there. As you imagine, he was so funny. I just stopped asking him questions. I just held my hair up
awesome.
there. Oh, I couldn't even tell you what he said. He just was so friendly, so nice. Simon Cowell, surprisingly funny.
Wow.
Kermit the Frog, my all-time favorite, and Julie Andrews. Can't beat it.
Well, I would love to meet Bill Murray sometime.
So great.
And how about, do you want to say who the meanest was, or the biggest jerk, or the biggest disappointment, or you don't want to tell me?
I've never had anybody jerky. I was disappointed that George Clooney didn't talk to me longer, but he was charming and wonderful. He just really said, "Oh no," and he wrapped it up in like 30 seconds. I'm like, but I want to stare at you longer. No, I was lucky. Nobody was. I don't think I've ever had anybody be mean.
Gotcha. All right. How about your favorite hotel?
Oh, okay. It's in the UK, maybe in Europe as well. Instead of calling it a B&B, they call it dinner with rooms, which sounds intriguing. And Harlech, there's Harlech Castle in northern Wales, and it was a B&B there. And I honestly think it's just called Harlech.
Well, I'll do a blog post on this, and I'm actually going to send you the questions after, So
Oh,
you
okay, okay,
fill them
okay, okay.
in,
Sorry,
and that
sorry
way
about that. Yeah.
that's okay, because that way people can click the
It's
link
so
or search
good.
it.
It's so great. Yeah, and just for a quick description, so obviously it's an old stone house, and you're kind of when you're the rooms are upstairs, you get these wooden beams, and you wake up with a view of Harlech Castle. It's just amazing.
Sounds
Just
pretty good right about
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Favorite island?
Favorite island, Dalkey Island, which is kind of like a suburb just outside of Dublin. It's so cute.
And how about favorite beach?
Favorite beach, the beach it's in Eastbourne, England, Sussex, so southeast England. It's where the Seven Sisters Cliffs are, and these cliffs are so high, and the beach itself is rather small, with all rocks and sort of things, but it's just this dramatic landscape. It's incredible.
Well, did you go swimming?
No, it was really cold.
I figured
We had sweaters and vests and trying to smile for the camera. Yeah, it was really cold.
And how about, do you use a certain travel credit card, credit card when you travel?
Yeah, I use my Delta American Express all the time because I'm cheap and I like getting the free bags.
Good.
Very convenient. I love it. Pretty simple.
And how about your favorite travel movie?
Your travel movie, Ratatouille for Paris.
Wow, I like
It's
that.
wonderful because it's like when you're animating it, you don't have to show any of the bad parts of any part of the city, and it's because that's what a good travel movie or travel show does, makes you feel like you're there or want to be there. I'm like, it's just perfect. The
You know what,
fantasy version of
I might
Paris.
have to air that tonight for my 3-year-old.
It's so good. I love Ratatouille. Yeah.
Good. How about travel show besides your own Curious Traveler?
I wouldn't dream of saying it. I love it's either on Amazon or Netflix. It's a BBC show. It's called England's Best Villages with Penelope Keith. And if anybody is a fan of any British shows, you'll know who Penelope Keith is. And it's sort of reality show format where they pick 3 villages and they have a winner. You don't even care about that part of it because every single village is so beautiful, and you're going and you're seeing these places because there's so many of them that you wouldn't normally, there wouldn't be time to show them all on a regular travel show. So it's fantastic.
I've never heard of it, so I'm gonna check
It's
that out.
so good. It's heaven. Nothing bad happens in it. That's my favorite part.
Good. How about, are you a big reader? Favorite travel book?
Yes, a trilogy. It's Patrick Lee Fermer, and it's a Broken Road, A Time of Gifts, and Between the Woods and Water. And the quick synopsis is, it's a true story, true travelogue. In 1933, he was 18 years old, and he backpacks from Amsterdam all the way to Constantinople. So of course it's between the 2 world wars, and of course it's kind of pre a lot of modern ways of traveling. So he's literally backpacking, and he has some places set up through his father. He can stay at a castle, that sort of thing, but most of the time he's depending on the kindness of strangers, and he'll bunk out in a farm or under a tree. And the thing that was amazing to me after reading all this, only once or twice did he ever run into any sort of danger. And I think nowadays, he's talking about, oh, and the sun was setting and I saw a light up in the farmhouse. I knocked on the door and they welcomed me in. I'm like, you would never have
Right.
that.
Times
So
changed.
it's amazing. Yeah, that's my all-time favorite. Yeah.
How about, do you follow any travel bloggers or sign up to newsletters, travel newsletters?
I have so many, I couldn't even begin. I don't do newsletters so much because I feel like all I do is read and research for, I do listen to, sorry, my mind just went blank.
It's
I have a
okay.
couple of BBC radio travel podcasts that I listen to.
Okay.
Rick Steves, always, the wonderful Rick Steves. And my mind just went blank. I'm sorry, but I have a couple. I'll
That's
think of
right.
it. And
I'll send
I'll
you the
have
form,
it
and we
written
can
up.
we can put it in the blog post. So give people a
Perfect.
reason to check out the website.
Perfect.
And by the way, speaking of websites, where can people find you?
At CuriousTravelerTV.com. And for any of the social medias that the kids are on, just search Curious Traveler and make sure you throw the TV at the end of it. There used to be a Curious Traveler beer. That's not us.
Okay.
Put TV at the end of it.
And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I don't use it that much. We are on Amazon though, so we like people to go to Amazon or to pbs.org to watch the show.
Okay, good. And hopefully you'll subscribe to my channel and everyone else out there who's watching or listening to my podcast, and like this video.
There you go.
Worst travel moment.
Worst travel moment.
Or most embarrassing travel moment?
Oh, I had a lot of embarrassing travel moments, but I don't think I actually want to share any of
Okay.
them. I had one. Wait, what's one? Sorry, I swear I had this prepared for you. It's a travel moment that we had that was. Oh, I got the perfect one for you. So I interviewed the Crown Prince of Norway in my tennis shoes.
Well,
Yeah, that's not good. So long story short, when we
is that your worst or your most embarrassing?
that's embarrassing. It's
Okay.
embarrassing, and no, the real worst ones I'm not going to share.
Okay.
They're no good. Yeah, that was not good. So it was not planned, and our coordinator that was with us like, oh, I have great news. We're going to say, I'm like, I really don't want to. And because when we're filming, we're actually moving around, place to place. I wear comfortable Skechers, kill me. Usually nobody sees it, nobody cares, and of course he's like a foot taller than me, and I'm yeah, it's not good. He was so nice, though. He acted like he didn't notice. He was charming and wonderful. I was like, thank you, Prince.
At least he wasn't a foot shorter. Then he would have really seen your shoes.
I know. What can you do?
All right. What's your dream destination?
My dream destination, sort of a dream trip. So it's in France. I would love to someday do it as part of the show, a month-long bike tour through France. I think that would be fantastic.
Tour de France? You want to do Tour de France?
Yeah, no. My version of a Tour de France. Nothing speedy. We would have to figure out how to not look sweaty on camera, but to go into all the different little villages and smaller places, because for me, that's kind of the fun of travel.
Gotcha. 2 more questions.
Yep.
What's the most important thing travel has taught you?
That there's a whole big world out there, and get out and investigate it. Don't stay in one little small corner of the world.
And it's gotten bigger in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And what is your best travel tip?
My best travel tip. Plan it now. And I was actually chatting about this. I've kind of been promoting this during the lockdown, is use this time now to plan your dream trip. Do it now. And what's the expression? A dream with an end date is a plan. People always think, oh, someday. Make someday now. Type it up or write it down, whatever it's going to be, and worry about the details as you go. Just sort of say, okay, on this date, I'm going to go do this, and then sort of, backtrack and do everything else to fill in the details, and then make it actually happen.
Good. And when you're planning and researching, what websites or books do you use?
Good old Encyclopedia Britannica. And I would tell people when they're looking things up, if you're just trying to find out information, where to go and where to stay, you're fine going on maybe, the tourism websites or like a sightseeing. But if you're really wanting to find out like fun little facts, like what we do on our show, nerdy facts, double check everything. I can't tell you how many times we said, oh, but it said that on the website. Not 100% true all the time. So always double check everything.
Gotcha. And do you do that online or you actually read a hardcover?
I do that online, and then I go down the rabbit hole where I'm like, oh, well, let me find out about this. Actually, another really great one, if you're doing kind of nerdy travel research, is, start with Encyclopedia Britannica, and they're great, but they don't have everything. And I hate to say it, so Wikipedia is known for having all these esoteric topics, everything, but you really have to obviously triple check what they have there. So you go down to the footnotes and then read it from the source. And Google Books is simple enough. You put in a little search thing and it'll highlight every thing that you're looking for. I was looking for something on Toronto's railway history yesterday and used Google Books online. It's very good.
Those are great resources. I didn't even think about some of them.
Oh, they're good.
So thank
it's
you.
The simplest one sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so you just finished season 4 of Curious Traveler, and you're now working on season 5?
Absolutely. So season 4 premiered in March, right when the lockdown happened, but the schedule is still the same out there. It airs at different times in different cities across the U.S. Season 5, fortunately, we had already filmed about half of the season just before the lockdown happened. We're hoping to be able to film 5 or 6 more when it's safe to travel again. But in the meantime, I have no reason to procrastinate. I'm sitting still and writing out all those scripts.
Well, congratulations, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
And Christine van Blokland, thank you very much for being a guest of my 39 travel questions, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.